Divided by 9.
It's not. Okay. All right. So let's listen up. Oh, wow. Some really good thinking going on here. And I'd like to explain. Now, there's not just one way to tackle this problem. Because if I wanted to, I could have my pouches on this side. Let's get our eyes up here, guys, for right now. Because I don't want you to miss this. Miss My goodness. Miss this. Okay. Jade? I could have my pouches on this side and my coins on this side. Or vice versa. I could say, I want my coins on this side, my pouches on that side. It doesn't matter. Okay? No, it doesn't. I'm going to get the same answer. Okay, so the way that I might solve this or that we might solve this together might be different than how you did. But it's the process. So when I think about, and I'm going to make a nicer poster. We scribbled this out during Focus Math. First thing we really want to do is we want to move all of our coins, which is our numbers, to one side of the equals and move all of our X's, which is our pouches, to the other side. That's like our big thing. Now, how do we do that? We do it using inverse of the current operations. So we want to do the opposite of what they're doing. And we call that the inverse. So whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. Obviously, this isn't in order, but I'm slowly getting there. And then in the end, we're going to isolate the X. And how we're going to do that? We're going to funnel down, and we're going to funnel up. Pretty messy poster, huh? I bet it will look good. I will make it look good. All right, so pouches, coins, or coins, pouches, doesn't matter. Someone give me what they did as their first step. Jade?
I got the 2x over to the side.
So you said, you know what? I'm going to deal with my pouches first. Okay? So here I have a minus 2x. What's the inverse of minus 2x? Plus 2x. So that disappears. That becomes 0. And then I come over to the 7x and I add 2x. So now I have 9x minus 24 equals negative 69. Radana, next step.
Then I added 24 to both sides.
So you said, hey, I want to move these coins. So all my coins are over here. So I'm going to add 24 to this side. Because the inverse of subtracting 24 is adding. I add 24 here. And now I have 9x equals negative 45. Okay? And Anderson, don't be writing down the homework right now. If you didn't do it, you didn't do it. Okay? It's okay. But that's not going to help you just copying it down. Okay. What would I do?
So then you have to divide 9 from the 9x to get rid of it. And you
Yep.
have to divide
Boom. Very good. I'm going to divide to 1, right? That's what it's called. And then here, divide as well. So I got x equals negative 45. What can I do now? Negative 5. What can I do now? Vanessa?
Then just make the x equal. The check make all the x's.
Make all the x's negative 5. So now I'm going to go up here. 7 times negative 5 minus 24 equals negative 69 minus 2 times negative 5. This equals negative 10. This equals negative 35. Negative 35 minus 24 is negative 59. And then negative 69 minus negative 10. Subtracting a negative is like adding a positive. That's important because it's like adding 10, negative 59. Boom. Okay. Questions about that? On the test, only 3 out of 10 people got this question right.
Was I one of them?
That would be, I would have like a photogenic memory. It'd be like, unbelievable. I can't remember that. You probably could if it was you, right? So it was a hard question. Now I haven't looked at the process to see where our mistakes were, but I wanted us to go over. This isn't exactly the same one, but it was darn close. It was very close to those. So if you're getting this now, that's good. That's good. You're showing growth. I've updated the grades, all the missing warm-ups. I've got almost all those in except for a couple I got today. I have one student who has to take the test, and then we're all going to be able to actually look at how we did. Well, he's not here, so he can't take it.
You can't tell us the grades.
And I can give you an idea. Yeah. And then today, this is very similar to some other days that we've had, with the exception of one thing. I can find the Y-intercept. We're pretty good at that. And slope. But isn't the slope the rate? Yes. So we're just practicing using that term and making sure that we know what the slope is. If you need help understanding where you can find slope or the rate, you can look over here. Because that talks about tables, equations, and graphs. And you can see here, rate. That's our slope. You can see right here. That's our slope. And up there, the M, I actually, at the time, called it rate and slope. So you can use those to help identify, like, oh, yeah, that's how I do that for the beginning part of this lesson. This is what I'd like. We have Anthony and Elise. One conversation. Just one.
No, Y-intercept is like couldn't we look at them stars? Yeah.
You know me. I'm not going to pound on you. It's your growth. If you want to copycat, but it's not going to help you, right? And I only assign a little bit, and I do it to help you, not to punish you.
Because it's a negative rate. You're not going up the graph this way, you're going down. So you'd go down 3 and you'd go over. Go down 3 over 2.
Okay, the homework. If you didn't
Yeah,
do it,
but
don't
it goes
worry.
back on the plane. It doesn't go in this. If it went down, it'd be a negative. Because
What if it's going forward?
this is always the positive. These are always the positive. This is always the negative. So if it goes back, it's going to be a
From the
negative.
negative to the positive.
Or it's going from the positive to the negative.
How do you know that?
Because the line goes like this. It goes from the positive to the negative.
It's actually a negative.
Yeah, it's a negative rate.
It is, look. Negative rate.
Yeah, but the it's going down.
Okay.
What's your question?
Is it going backwards up to the negatives or forward into the positive?
Okay, but here's the thing. So the question is this. The question is this a positive line or a negative line? That's what you're asking. Okay. This, because of this line, if I go from here, hold on, I'm looking at his graph. I'm going to put a couple points, because this is good. If I go from here, okay, and I don't know what this number is. Do you remember what it is?
It's -2.
All right, this is -2. And then I go here, and this is 1. So if I'm going from here to there, that's a negative change or positive change if I go from -2. Okay, so that's a positive change. Hold on. That's a positive change of 3. But now I'm going from here to there. And this is a negative because I'm going from whatever number is this down to 0. So I'm going from a higher number, let's say it's 4, because I'm not sure or 3, to 0. Does that make sense? Yeah. So this is a negative change. Okay. So now I have a positive I have a -3 because it's negative. Change over y over change in x. I have a -3 change on my y. +3 change. I get a -1 slope. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Negative divided by positive is
Negative.
And just by looking, guys, I like to look at slopes. You should be able to look in the, if you go from the origin up here and roll the snowball down, is it going to go down or up? Down. And if it was positive, if you got here, you know, you want to look at it from left to right, and you'll be able to recognize right away if the slope is positive or negative. Just like reading.
Grace,
Yep.
get going on reading page 90.
So you said the Y-intercept was 0. I agree with that. And the Y was 0. For 4, you said that the Y was 0.5x, but I think it's just 0.5.
Where's 0.5x?
On 4.
We're doing Y.
That's what it says.
I just got, but that's not the, I just got the rate.
If you guys are at your seats down, I want you on this.
That's not the rate. That's the equation.
Get homework away. 90,
Didn't it ask for the rate though?
I know, but I wrote the equation so you could
okay,
see.
I'm sorry. Yeah, because under that he said slope is.
Yeah.
Are we good,
Sorry.
Anthony?
Yeah.
I just didn't understand what.
Thank you, my man.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, we're on page 90 and 91. We're going to start there by reading. And this is how we're going to structure it. You got A1 and A2. That's going to be your independent productive struggle. Chris. Okay? So you're working on this independently. If you need help, I'm here. Miss Jones is here. We'll come around and help you. I really want you to tackle this on your own. Now, if you can turn to page 92. Turn to page 92. I know you haven't read 90, 91 yet, but just turn to 92. You are going to see there's 2 tables, 2 graphs, and 2 equations. Equation 1, table 1, graph 1, they're not the same. They don't connect. They're totally separate. Does that make sense? What you have to do for all 6, because you got 2 graphs, 2 tables, and 2 equations, you have to tell me the slope, and you have to tell me the y-intercept. For all 6. All right, so the y-intercept changes from each one. All right, turn your page back to 90 and 91 and go ahead and read. Once you're done reading, then you can start on that productive struggle. Because that's what it should be, right? It's your independent growth where you create questions. It's the same thing as when you do your homework by yourself. You create questions and understandings. Whether those understandings are right or wrong, it doesn't matter. What happens is you learn from them. And that's why we want the productive struggle. Not bad, buddy. 16 out of 16 is pretty awesome. Make sure, read, there was another part to that question. Mm-hmm. And then you forgot to solve and just show your work on this. But overall, it's not bad. Mm-hmm. I think, just those few couple things and you would do a little better. job, Ben. Hey guys, come on, independent. Is he talking?
I don't rat people out.
He's talking. He's the one that gets
Focus. Focus. Oh, that was good. That was good. Hey, just when you said I don't rat people out, what did he do? Okay, if you guys can go ahead, turn your papers back over. All right. So everyone turn your papers over to the other side. So I'm just going to do a small teach. So slope. We're trying to use data to find the y-intercept and the slope. That's the whole goal for today. So here I have a graph, table, and equation. The same ones that you guys have. So in order to find the slope, I'm going to use this change of y over change in x. Slope. And you should take those notes so you know that that m represents slope. That's the mathematical notation for slope. Makes total sense.
Why is it like a
M. I have no idea. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense at all. But it probably does if you learn more about it, but that's as far as my knowledge goes around slope. There was one point where I probably knew more. But slope is related to m. In our equation, y equals mx plus b, you can see there's your slope, your rate. It always in a linear equation works with your independent variable. Your slope always works with the independent variable, and I'm going to show you why. So here on my graph to find slope, I got to find the change in y over change in x. So I have to find 2 points. I'm going to pick 2 points that are easy to read, usually like an intersection of two values. This value is at 0 on the x, 6 on the y. And now I'm going to choose this one down here because it's 3 and 0. Now, if you notice, these points would show up in a table, wouldn't they? So this is what I'm going to do. What's the difference if I go from 0 to 3? Is that a positive change? If I go from 0 to 3? Okay. So, and that's in the x. So I have a positive change of 3 in the x. I went from 0 to 3. Well, that's not 3, is it? That's 2. What am I doing?
I was going to say.
Thank you. Well, you should say. Don't let me just keep teaching and...
Your brainwashed us, Mr. McFarlane. You're lying to your class.
So, I have a change of 2. And you can see that positive change because this dot is here. So if I go over to the next dot, it's 2 over on the x. And I go from 0 to 2, so it's a positive change. Now, if I go from 6 to 0, is that a positive change or negative change? Negative. And it's a negative change of 6. That's my change of y. Because remember, these points are written as x and y. So y, I go from here, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going down, so it's a negative change. So I have a rate or a slope of -3. This line is a slope of -3. So what does that -3 mean? Carl?
That's the rate of change.
Okay, the rate of change of what?
How steep it is.
Oh man, yes, it is how steep it is. It is the slope. Basically, it means this. Your slope, what variable does it work with? Independent. For every time the independent variable changes by 1, what happens to your y? It changes by -3. It means this. For every time I go over 1, I'm going to drop down 3. I go over 1, drop down 3. This is why when you look up here, your slope works with the independent variable. Because when this changes by 1, this is going to change by -3 in this circumstance here. That's what that -3 means. For every 1 here, I change -3 there. So let's go to the table. It's almost exactly the same. Change in y over change in x. Make sure you stay with me with the notes. I can pick any 2 pairs. So I'm going to pick, well, I like zeros, so I'm going to pick that pair. And then I don't like to do a lot of math, like tough math, so I'm just going to pick the pair right beside it. So what's my change? If I go from -2 to 0, what's my change?
+2.
plus 2. So I'm going to put a 2 there. And then here, I'm going from -4 to -1. So I do that division, and I have a slope of 1.5. What does that 1.5 mean?
It's 1.5.
For every 1 on the x, what happens to the y? It goes by 1.5. 1.5. So if I change 2, that goes up by 3. If I change 3, that goes up by 4.5. So that relationship is what the slope actually means. For every 1 on the x, how many do I change on the y? So that would be my slope. So let's go back to the graph and now talk about y-intercept. Well, did I already label my y-intercept? No. Yeah, I did. My y-intercept is 0, 6. That's my y-intercept. So if I know that my y-intercept is when x is 0, what is y? Well, when x is 0 here, it's 6. What about in the table? Yeah.
When x is 0, y is -1.
When x is 0, y is -1. This table is pretty easy because they give it to you. But table 2, you're going to have to use the rate to figure out when x is 0. You did? Okay. So that's our job for today. We're really working with our slope and our y-intercepts and data that they give us. Questions? Okay. We're still in productive struggle. Once you finish A1, A2, I expect to see some names going up there for the NPS. I need a partner space. And then, once you're done, whoop, go up there, erase the name, get together, go sit on the carpet, start working on B.
Didn't we just do A1?
We did graph 1 of A1. We did table 1 of A1. You need to do equation 1 of A1. You need to do graph 2 of A1 and table 2 of A1. And equation 2.
Okay, so it'd be 3.5. No, wait.
Yeah, you just caught yourself. You went the wrong way. Right? Should be 5.
How'd you get -3?
That's a really good question. So here if I'm going from this point to that point. This point is 0, 6. It's 0 on the x. See my x?
Yeah.
So that's 0. If I go up, boom. And it's 6 on the y.
Yeah.
Because there's 0. And there's that. This point is 0 on the y, right? Because that's 1. That's -1. That's 0. And it's +2 on the x. So what's the difference between 0 and 2? If I how far, if I went 2 minus 0, what do I get?
-2. No.
Positive 2. If I go 0 minus 6, I get, and what's a negative divided by a positive? A negative. So that's how, instead of +3, it's a -3 because you have, this is a negative change because I'm going from
If they're the same, then it's
positive. Yep. Say what?
Would the y-intercept be 20?
Would that make sense? Does the y-intercept work with the independent variable? What works with the independent variable? The slope. So 20 must be my y-intercept then. Okay. Hey, you got braces. Oh my goodness, your teeth hurt. How long are you gonna have them for? Oh, it's not that long.
Lane had it for 4.
I had mine for 4.5. Hey.
In April, though. She's had them since April.
Grace is getting ready to get braces too. Okay.
Would it still be 0, 6, or would it be 6, 0?
Well,
Because the line.
this is x is 0, y is 6. But here it's -2 on the x and 0 on the y.
No, look at this one.
Yeah, you're right. Yes, it's 0, 6.
6. And this one is
-2, 0.
Mr. McFarland, I don't have that vocabulary.
It's up there in the vocab section.
So, for this table, since I did these two,
Boom, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
and then so I just divide
You
those.
divide it and it's 0.5 slope. Yep, you got it, man. Oh, but wait a minute. Hold on. I remember. Here, is it a positive change or negative?
Negative. I'm on graph 2. Doesn't matter who's winning. Rihanna still has her math.
Come on.
Keep doing the work. I'm just getting it in my hand.
We already did that.
I don't know how to play this green.
Hey, use the poster.
Okay, so that.
-2 right there, and then you have 6. So would it be 6 over -2, or do you have to see that 6 to there is a negative thing, a negative rate?
Well, you tell me. From here, if I go from -2 to 0, is that a positive change or negative change? Positive change. If I go from 0 to 6, is that a positive change?
Oh, yeah. So
That's a positive slope. Yeah. Remember, guys, to check your answers. Radonna's going over. She was looking at her answers.
It's right.
Oh, it's not. It's 4-1. I'll switch it. Hold on. Bring it over to me. I gotta switch that.
Oh my gosh.
I never do, you guys.
Arguably either.
I'm gonna do that.
Recording this video when I get home. I will press record. I'm gonna record this video. Why?
It's showing my face.
I am doing better than Radanya. Hey Radanya, you said you weren't even done yet. No, you're looking at the camera. You can look away. See, now it doesn't see your pistol. It sees it's your hair.
Ben, go with side. Or is Radonna with you?
Radonna,
Oh, okay.
Radonna, what'd you get for graph number 2?
I was looking at what I got for the other ones.
But he just did it with us.
All of them?
He just did the graph in the table.
Yeah,
he did the graph.
I've done it. Can't get the equation.
Are you pretty much done?
I have one more.
Okay, finish up on that one. Sai, grab this stuff, come over. You and Radonna are gonna work together.
Radonna, what'd you get on the table number 2 and table 2?
So,
Table number 2, I got 2.
I got negative 0.5. How'd you get 2, Radonna?
I really don't know.
Radonna, how did you get 2? Did you check your answers?
Okay.
Did you get it right on your answers?
Y-Intercept, what's the other one?
I need to check my answer board.
Wait, I'm not done though. Okay.
You're not done yet?
I have to do the equation. It's a,
And then you're gonna...
she still has to do the equation. I have to write in the
Oh, just do it.
I was checking this part.
I don't like
I'm
the
almost
equations.
done.
Go with No, it was better. Does that help you?
I still don't know.
What'd you get? 0.5?
I would laugh if we went to go up and Carl, I got to ride with you.
Right?
Huh? I got to ride with you, my dude. No, you didn't. Yeah, I do. You're just scared that because you know I'm gonna crush you in a race. Race me? No. Who'd win in a race, Radonna?
Giant.
I still don't understand how.
What question are you not understanding?
I don't understand how the equations work. And I even tried out.
So you need to write equations from your graphs and tables, right?
Yes.
The only things you need, look.
Do I need to prove if it's wrong? Wait, we're talking about what you got on equation
Information to write an equation.
What? What'd you got on
Your
equation?
rate, your slope,
Equation 2?
and your y-intercept.
That the y-intercept is 20 and then the slope is 30?
30.
I mean 3.
I'm confused.
3.
Like, right?
Oh, so
Yeah.
rewrite it.
Yes. Take the equation. Say, what's the equation for graph 1? What's the equation for graph 2?
Yeah, we already had it. It's y equals 1.5 plus.
You didn't listen to me. So
1.5 was this.
Say
It
what?
was not that.
Oh gosh, I am so fucking confused.
So I guess we need
What?
I get it.
Hey, Elise.
Okay, wait. None of these ones.
Cyrus is mine.
That's the negative.
Stay back.
That's not a negative one. They're both positive. There you go. And that's positive 6. Negative 6 would be down.
Carl, help me with the. Carl, I'm gonna beat you.
Exactly.
Are you on A2? I'm on A1. I'm on equation 1, but I still don't. Josh, okay. The y-intercept is what's being added on, right? Yes. So that's 5. 5 is being added on, right? Yes. And then the rate is what is being multiplied by the independent variable, and that the independent variable.
And there's your
is
slope.
x.
That's your slope.
But it
That's your y-intercept.
already gave me the equation.
It doesn't ask you to write the equation.
It just asked
It
for
says
the
write an equation for each graph and table.
No,
You're not going to write an
on.
equation for an equation.
He's still on A1.
Oh, so you need to find the slope. So you're just finding the slope.
Yeah.
You just got to identify it.
Oh! That man? No, we didn't.
Looks like the thing.
Did that?
Show her face. Let's show my ugly ass face. Thanks for showing your face. I have the ugly ass face. Mr. McFarland should really edit his videos.
You ready? 3, 2, 1.
I wonder if you get.
Come on, Carl.
If you put like.
Okay, guys, if you could go ahead
And close it.
clean up.
And close it.
We're going to go to the exit ticket.
What? It's time to go.
It doesn't look like it's.
Guys, who is this?
Oh yeah, remember it's an LC mail day?
I know, that's why I just want to take it.
AC.
Clean up does not take talking.
Yes.
Okay, so,
I did my homework.
your homework for tonight. It will not take that long, but I feel it's really, like, again, I assign such small amounts of homework. And the reason why is, I don't want you practicing tons of stuff. I want you to practice exactly what I want, like, exactly what we did today. So that's why I assign small amounts, so then you can go home, have that independent productive struggle, come back, and you have lots of learning happening during that time. Whether it's figuring out what you did wrong, that's learning. Figuring out what you did right, that's learning. 29AI and 29AII on page 103. Okay? 29A has 3 questions. One is I, one's II, and one is a triple I. So I want you to do 2 of them. It's very much like what we did today. Finding the slope, find the y-intercept, and writing equations. All right. So because this is what we wanted to be able to show and be able to do, My exit ticket is very different from my I can statement, which I normally align. But I'm kind of trying to review for those of you that are going to be taking retakes on the test. So I'm using my exit ticket and warm up a little bit that way. So this is more of like a review. This was the second most missed question. It's not exact, it's similar. The only way you can start to tackle this, well, not the only, sorry, but the quickest way is to get rid of the brackets using distributive property. If you get rid of the parentheses, it's just like the one that we did in the beginning. This question, actually no, this was the most missed. So this was the one that 8 out of 10 people missed it. Yeah, 80%.
Wait, that's the question that was on the test?
No, it's similar.
I don't know if I got it.
So go ahead, you got to distribute that 5, and then get going on the math. Use distributive property to get rid of the 5. Remember, because what does this 5 mean? It means I have 5 groups of this. I have 5 groups of that. So if I had 5 groups of that, that means I would have 5 of 2x, and I would have 5 4s as well.
Oh, so you're supposed to do 5. Cool, I did it.
5 times 2x and 5 times 4. So it looks like this. Guys, voices. Come on. It looks like this. Now you solve.
Got it. Oh, it's running wrong.
So now you got to solve it. Solve for x. You did? Okay, okay. Just be patient.
I got the answer, but I didn't think it was right because I didn't think it was funny. Yeah. Probably because after everyone was taking
So what's the next step? What do I do? What can I do? Cyrus?
You add 2 to -2.
All right. Wait.
It says minus.
All right, so I'm going to add 2x and add 2x. So that disappears. This becomes 12x plus 20 equals 32. And the reason why I added, because I have to do the inverse, right? So then, Chris, what do I do?
So then you would do minus 20 on 20 and then 32. And you get 12.
And I get 12x equals 12. Divide both sides by 12. X equals 1. I can take that 1. I can plug it back in. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 4 is 6. So this is 5 times 6, which is 30. Over here, 2 times 1? 2. 32 minus 2?
30.
I got 30 on both sides. It works. All right, guys. Make sure to take your time. Do your homework tonight.
Is this, what do you think of this one?
I looked at it.